Hi, today I'm going to be talking about the parable of the fig tree. If you don't know me, my name is Annette Bell. I'm the host of Overcoming the Tribulation, which is mostly focused on preparing our hearts for the return of Christ. If you haven't already subscribed, I invite you to hit the subscribe button, and also if you click the notification bell, you'll receive a notice when I've posted a new video. The parable of the fig tree is found in Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 21 in what is usually referred to as the Olivet Discourse, because Jesus gave this teaching while he was on the Mount of Olives. I'm going to read it from New King James Version, Matthew 24, 32 through 35. Now learn this parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth leaves, you know that summer is near. So you also, when you see all these things, know that it is near, at the doors. Assuredly I say to you, this generation will by no means pass away till all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will by no means pass away. One of the most common interpretations of the parable of the fig tree is that the fig tree is Israel. Where does this come from? Well, a day or so before this parable was given, Jesus had an encounter with a fig tree. Let me read it to you. I'm reading from Mark 11, 12 through 14, 20 through 24. Now the next day, when they had come out from Bethany, he was hungry. And seeing from afar a fig tree having leaves, he went to see if perhaps he would find something on it. When he came to it, he found nothing but leaves, for it was not the season for figs. In response, Jesus said to it, "Let no one eat fruit from you ever again." And his disciples heard it. Now in the morning, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree dried up from the roots. And Peter, remembering, said to him, "Rabbi, look, the fig tree which you cursed has withered away." So Jesus answered and said to them, "Have faith in God, for assuredly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, 'Be removed and be cast into the sea,' and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that those things he says will be done, he will have whatever he says. Therefore I say to you, whatever things you ask when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you will have them." Many people believe that the fig tree represented Israel at the time because they had mostly rejected Jesus. But what he's saying here is about praying in faith and not doubting so that you receive what you ask for in prayer. It doesn't make sense at all. Though punishment was upon Christ's generation for their rejection of him, he did not reject Israel. He did not curse Israel that she should be eternally unfruitful. Far from it. He promises in Jeremiah 31 and Romans 11 and many other places he will not give up his covenant with them that is ultimately for their salvation and blessing. So that's not what it's about. Perhaps people think about the parable of the vineyard owner, how the kingdom of God would be taken from those who reject him and given to a nation producing its fruits. But I think we should be careful about taking one context and applying it to a completely different context. Matthew 24:34 says, "This generation will by no means pass away." The average length of a generation is given in Psalm 90, verse 10. "The days of our lives are 70 years, and if by reason of strength they are 80 years, yet their boast is only labor and sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away." After almost 1900 years, the modern state of Israel was born in 1948. This made Christians excited thinking about the return of Christ because we knew Israel had to be a nation again before this would happen, because Israel is center to end times prophecy. Some people who believed Israel is the fig tree proposed that Jesus should come back by 1988, 40 years after her modern birthday. Probably the 40 years came from the amount of time that Israel wandered in the desert when God slew one generation and raised up another. Of course, that didn't happen. But then, after seeing this verse in the Psalms, some people started proposing, also who believed Israel was the fig tree, started proposing that Jesus would come before 2018 when Israel celebrated her 70th anniversary. That didn't happen either. But because it says, or 80 years if you have the strength, then some people are now saying that Jesus will come back before 2028. I don't think this will happen either. Another reason I reject the fig tree is Israel hypothesis is because the Luke account talks about other trees as well. Let me read it to you. Luke 21:29-33. Then he spoke to them a parable. Look at the fig tree and all the trees. When they are already budding, you see and know for yourselves that summer is now near. So you also, when you see these things happening, know that the kingdom of God is near. Assuredly I say to you, this generation will by no means pass away till all things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will by no means pass away. If Israel is the fig tree, saying, look at the fig tree and all the trees, it doesn't make any sense. So what is the context of the parable of the fig tree? Jesus talked about these things or all these things, plural. Israel becoming a nation again is one thing. What things? Well, right before he tells the parable of the fig tree, Jesus, in all 3 chapters where he discusses it, has just told about the events of the tribulation. All of the deceptions, the persecutions, the apostasy, the signs in the sky, the signs on the earth, the fear, and then his return. So I believe that Jesus is saying when you see all these things, he's referring to the events of the tribulation, saying the people who see the events of the tribulation will see the end of it. That generation will not pass away until he comes back. That's what I believe it's about. The Gospel of Luke gives great credence to the idea that Jesus is talking about the events of the tribulation coming on one generation, that the fig tree bearing leaves is referring to the events of the tribulation that he just described. Let me read it to you in Luke 21. Luke 21:25-28. And there will be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and on the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them from fear, and the expectation of those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of the heavens will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. Now when these things begin to happen, look up and lift up your heads, because your redemption draws near. Jesus said, now when these things begin to happen, these things in Luke 21:28 are clearly about the events of the tribulation, and he's not even in a parable. Thank you for watching my video on the parable of the fig tree. If you haven't already, would you click the like button? Also, I welcome your comments, and if you have people that you think could use this information, would you please share it with others? God bless you and have a great day.